Controversy is brewing in the comic book market. Luckily, you got ComicGains to tell you if everything is safe.
Y'all ready for this?
Welcome back, Gators, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains. And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is the Princess, Her Royal Highness, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing the Princess wave. You do too. Out of respect, of course, there's the Cocoa Dog.
Oh yeah, the whole gang's back together. We were at least one person short last time we met up.
One of us.
All right, guys. Exciting month so far. We are into July, and what does that mean, Zach, when we enter a new month?
We got a brand new drop list.
Drop list! Yeah, so the ComicGains crew gets together once a month. We only see each other once a month. No, we're always together. And we smash our heads together and we figure out which books were trending or hot or important last year. Exactly 12 months ago to the date. And we put those books through our strenuous ComicGains program. Yeah, and we find out which of those books have lowered in price and do they make the cut to enter the drop list. We give you the reason why they were hot, maybe why they're not, and the Slab Master, the king of price, Zach will let you know the reason why they dropped.
Yes.
And
accurate.
He'll tell you if any of these are good deals. And you'll get the slab of the week. The pick of the week. It doesn't have to be a slab, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
But it could be.
But it could be.
Before we get into any of that, though, we're feeling a little thirsty here. It's been hot in the Pacific Northwest, and a Bigfoot came in and stole all our drinks, so we had to get some more drinks.
Yes, and we had to go probiotic. It's a synergy raw kombucha watermelon wonder.
We had to get synergy.
We are not sponsored by them, but we should be. So I'm going to do a quick shake. I don't know if I have to.
You remember to shake, guys. Oh, that was bad?
Don't shake it. Don't shake it. Wow.
I think it says don't shake.
I don't think it says don't shake. Okay. One time I remember to shake. It, you shouldn't shake it. Anyways, let's try this again. Wow, this is going to be fun to clean up.
It's going to make the carpet pink.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Is it good, though?
Yeah, but that's how much I lost of it. This thing was full. Jesus.
Now it's not full. You know how you can get full? Hanging out with us on Whatnot. Oh, like that, Zach?
Yeah.
Jumping right in. Yeah, every Saturday, either Princess or the Gains team will be on Whatnot. Check our listing times. Please bookmark ahead. 30-second auctions, $1 starts. Some of the greatest gains you can get on Whatnot. I have not seen a finer show than ours. Although there's plenty of other good ones on there. So check it out. All right, guys. Let's hop into the list. This is a very fun and interesting list. We picked these books up. Like I said, they're all hot books from the month of July in 2023. And it was kind of random how these books came together. And they all have something in common, which is kind of exciting as well at the same time. So let's just get right into it with number 5 on the list. We start at the top and work our way to the number 1. So number 5 on the list is Uncanny X-Men 266. Is that right? That's on the drop list?
It's on the drop list.
Princess is like, did I grab the wrong book? Gotcha. 1990 this book came out. Chris Claremont and Andy Kubert. One of the Kuberts did this cover. Good old Andy. Obviously, awesome book on this one. Why is this important? Is it the first appearance of Gambit?
Yeah.
Maybe. First appearance of Gambit, whether maybe, sometimes that goes. Some people call it the second appearance of Gambit, if you want to believe in X-Men Annual 14. Obviously, everyone's debated this controversy forever. X-Men Annual 14 came out first, 266 came out second, but if you're following the timeline, 266 is actually like the first time they meet him, and so on and so forth. I think the market speaks for it, that 266 is the one everybody likes. They agree that's the first appearance. It's got the better cover. Go with it from there. I mean, you can argue it till you're blue in the face and keep buying all those X-Men Annual 14s, but the 266 will always be worth more. So, kind of smells like alcohol a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's funny.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But why was this book important last year? Well, we all knew that X-Men 97 was coming out, the cartoon, and obviously Gambit was going to be a huge, big part of that. No major spoilers, but he was a big part of that, and a lot of people cried with things that had to do with Gambit. I think with the final scenes of the show, we will see our friend Remy LeBeau back again, because he's got to pay the tithe, right?
Yeah,
The tithe? Wait.
The tithe? Yeah.
The tithe?
That he has to bring some war. Right?
Yeah.
Some war.
You know what I'm talking about. So, Bolo report on this one. I've got a little bit for you. Newsstand copy, almost worth double the price in high grade. And also, if your name is Zach, you be hunting for them. Mark Jewelers. Get yourself a Mark Jeweler dog and train them well. Coco can smell them from a mile away. But more importantly, is it a good time to get that $266?
Right. It's not a bad price right now. A year ago, for a CGC 9.8, for this car dealing book that apparently also it blows up, it's $761. Now it's $680. Range as low as $275. Someone got a deal. To high as $959. Average sale is $663. It's an 11% drop. There's a lot of these graded. There's 25,435 total graded, right? There's only 3,832 9.8s. So that's about the 15% mark.
That's a low amount for 1990. Really low. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot graded, but only a few of them are 9.8s, relatively, ratio-wise. I think this fantastic book is always going to be a fantastic book. It's one of my favorite X-Men characters. Not the favorite, but one of the favorites. He's a fun character. I'd say it's a decent price for a 9.8. You probably find it raw and maybe try to shoot for a 9.8, but if you got $700 and you're not trying to get a newsstand or a Mark Jeweler, right?
Yeah. It's one of those ones you might even be safer buying a 9.82 just because so many people charge a lot for this book, even in like a mid-grade copy, which I feel like they shouldn't be. You know, like they still try to charge you like over $100 for like a 7.0 or an 8.0 raw, which is kind of crazy considering like the price value you get for a 9.8. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Cool book though. Cool book. All right, let's move on. Let's jump right into number 4 on the list. And this is an important book for all comic book collectors. It lets you know the health of the market. And we're going to find out today in July 2024 how healthy the comic book market is with the Incredible Hulk issue 181. 1974, Len Wein, and the cover is actually done by 2 artists. You got Herb Trimpe and John Romita Sr. working on this cover together. This is also, like I said, a lot of controversy on our list today. First full appearance of Wolverine. Very controversial topic, whether or not 180 or 181 is the first appearance. I don't know, Zach, what do you think?
It's definitely the first full appearance, even though in 180 he is shown quite a bit. So it's kind of, 180 is not a cameo. It can't be a cameo. It has to be like its appearance and then this full appearance.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things that happened where like when 180 came out, everyone agreed that was the first appearance. It has all the rules of like how many times in a panel, how many times he talks, did they say his name, all of that stuff happens. But somewhere down the road, people decided 181 was the better book, and they flipped, became the first appearance, and changed the market. And I think it's stuck that way. I don't think it's really worth arguing at this point. You can kind of be, like I said, same thing with the Gambit. You can be that guy that only buys the 180 and wants to hold strong that that's the real first appearance. But 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, the guy that has all the 181s will be the king. Right, Zach?
The king of New Hulk Day.
New Hulk Day. We're coming up New Hulk Day. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other things. There's Hulk 182, which also has, like, a second cameo, which is weird, that you can even get, like, a cameo after it. And then they credit giant-sized X-Men with being, like, the first full second appearance, which is strange as well. Just weird how all that works out, where they want, like, the bigger books to be what it is. Well, Hulk 181 is the benchmark for basically the comic market as a whole. Obviously, like Golden Age doesn't quite fall into that line. In somewhat Silver Age as well, but everything else from Bronze to modern you can base off of how healthy Hulk 181 is. So we'll dive into that, but the reason this book was popular again, which it basically should always be popular because Wolverine's a pretty awesome character. We had X-Men 97 again, the cartoon that we all knew was coming. We knew Wolverine was going to be the same voice actor came back to reprise the role.
Nice.
I have to say, out of that entire series, the one thing that I didn't not like, but that was like the least impressive was probably Wolverine's character. Like, just didn't have much going on in the show. There was did some cool stuff, but like everybody else was so much cooler. Like Cyclops had a better arc than like Wolverine in the new show. So, but we got something coming out here real soon next week, and it's going to be Deadpool Wolverine. The movie, I'm not sure if it's like 3 or not, if it's actually 3 or if it's just Deadpool Wolverine. But Hugh Jackman's coming back. Wolverine's back on the hot. So let's see if this book is worth picking up in 2024. And don't forget, there is a Mark Jeweler in this book, so keep an eye out. That's the only thing that has like more value than the regular one is a Mark Jeweler, but that'd be crazy to find that.
It'd be insane. So, I got for the 9.6 a year ago. It was hulking out, Super Smash, Wolverine's cutting up his back too at the same time. That sounds dirty. But for 9.6, it was going for $23,499. Now, he's off the roids. Wolverine's taking a nap. You can pick one up for $19,200. There's a range of $16,099 to as high as $23,499.
Okay,
the
right at the height, right?
Yeah, 1 year ago. Average sale was $18,136. It's an 18% drop. A 9.8 last sold, just for clarity, for $62,220.
That's low. Wasn't like over 100,000 at one point?
Something like that. Yeah, it was really expensive. It dropped quite a bit. But it's kind of crazy. A 9.6 to a 9.8. I mean, if you send a book in, it gets a 9.6 and it's
you
just
lose
that
$30,000.
Yeah. Plus, oh man, that hurts. That hurts. All right. There's a lot of these graded, surprisingly.
Or unsurprising.
Well, you know, it's 18,103 total graded. Only 140.
That's 181. 18,100
plus 3.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
There's 145 9.8s. That's less than 1% of total graded, and there's 376 9.6s, and that's almost exactly 2% of total graded. So this is a pretty hard book to find in these high grades. Doesn't come up on the market as much as you'd like. You probably get a 9.6 maybe. 9.8's pretty dang hard. There's a lot of competition for that one. Yeah. I'd say this is one of those books that is gonna, on average, always go up. And if you can find one in any condition, as long as it doesn't look like dog crap, I'd get it.
Yeah. It's one of those weird ones where like people buy coverless ones, or people buy like missing pages or like chunks out of the cover. I mean, Marvel you don't want to, but people still do. Marvel stamp cut out, like it's still kind of acceptable. I wouldn't necessarily agree with buying one like that, but it's a cool book. Arguably the best Bronze Age book on the market right now. Obviously, there's a couple other ones that go with it, but it definitely has higher value than its competitors. So.
Yes, it's probably the king of the bronze.
Market healthy? It's a little low right now. It's a little low. So if you're looking to get a Hulk 181, now might be your time to pull the trigger. All right, let's talk other big books. Let's move over. We've been talking a lot of Marvel. Let's get into some DC action. We got Batman Adventures, number 12, 1993. Good year, 1993. Fantastic year.
Decent.
Mike Parlbeck and Kelly Puckett, who did the cover on this one. A lot of people think, Tim
Drake?
Yeah, did the cover?
No, Tim Drake. No, wait, who did the cover? I don't know.
Hold on.
Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Timm. What's that?
Yeah.
It's not Bruce Timm, though. It's not Bruce Timm that did the cover.
I know, but a lot of people think that, though.
Yeah, the guy styled his art as if it was Bruce Timm. I think.
Yeah. So, first appearance of Harley Quinn in Standard Comics. She actually shows up in a coloring book or something, like early, like a kid's activity book.
It was one of those, talk along, sing along tapes.
That's what it was. Yeah,
and it's pink and everything. If I find the book, I'll show you the full thing.
So keep an eye out for that. But this is the standard in comics. And yeah, Harley is kind of one of the biggest characters to come out of the 90s besides Deadpool. They kind of go hand in hand together as the two major keys from the 90s that appeared. So it's interesting. She also had her first appearance in a cartoon. So the Batman Adventures cartoon, she shows up in first. Wasn't in any comics at that point. And because she was such a fan favorite, they added her to the ongoing cartoon series. So this is based on the Batman cartoon. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool the way that works. But last year in August, they finally announced that Lady Gaga was going to be playing Harley Quinn in the upcoming Joker 2 movie, which is going to be part musical, something along those lines. There's going to be some singing that goes along in that movie. So, I mean, it makes sense. Lady Gaga is a singer, and I'm pretty sure Joaquin Phoenix can sing. We saw him in the Man in Black.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, this is one of those great books, too. It's very cool that a book from the 90s has been this expensive this long, but it has been on a little bit of a roller coaster over the past, 5 years or so. So, you kind of, make sure you get in at the right time to pick it up if you want to mark it off your list. Bolo report on this one. There is a newsstand copy that's very hard to find and garnishes about 2 times value. The only other one that I like is probably the UK one, which has a kind of a cool, different vibe to it. It's like a white background instead.
Oh, interesting.
There's a whole bunch of variant covers that people have produced over the last few years that are just not very good. I wouldn't get any of those. They're just kind of they're just facsimile ones. Just go for the real deal. More importantly, though, it's halfway through the list. How's the price on this one?
Price is down, obviously, from a year ago for a CGC 9.8 Direct Edition.
Ooh.
I believe. Is 3,120. It was no joke at 3,120 for a CGC 9.8. Now, deflate a little bit. It is a little bit of a joke. People are laughing at it, but still a good book at 2,200. Range is 1,680. And the high is 3,120. Average sell is 2,195. It's 29% drop. There's 9,678 total graded. Only 1,282 of them are 9.8s. So that's only 13% of total graded.
That makes it into the 15% mark.
Yes.
It's one of those weird books that, I don't think when it came out, people thought was a big deal. Because I got this book when it came out, and I did not think it was a big deal and just set it aside somewhere. So it's that's probably why there's so very few high-grade copies. Even though it was in that time when people were like, we're going to make $1 million off the death of Superman and Spider-Man 1 and X-Men 1. And nobody thought they were going to make $1 million off First Appearance of Harley Quinn in a kid's magazine. It literally says 4 kids on the book right there. 4 little kids.
Little babies.
Yeah. So I was like, it's cool when things like that happen. It's like a perfect storm that you don't expect. Along with what Zach said, I think it's a really cool book. I don't know if you should base the health of this book on Joker 2, Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn. Hopefully she does a good job. I got nothing against Lady Gaga, and hopefully the movie's good. I just don't know if it's going to be a quintessential, if it's going to make comic book people care that much more about Harley because Lady Gaga did a good job playing her. I don't know, unless you feel differently about it.
I honestly think that the things that's going to happen is people are going to look back to the Batman Adventure show and the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy show, and that's what, when they get a little older, they'll think about it and they want to pick up that first appearance. I don't know if it's going to be
Robbie.
Or
Margot Robbie did a really good job. I mean, for being in a pretty bad movie, she did a good job.
Yeah, you'll get nostalgia every 10 or 20 years, and the book is going to always climb up. The Joker 2, I've seen the Joker 1. It's a good movie, but it's pretty dark. I don't know. Maybe the Joker 2 will be better, but it's good.
They're both, yeah. Good. Joker 1 was really good. It just didn't have that rewatchability. Like you said, it was too dark, a little too cringy to keep watching it over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
I'll end up turning
you know what's not cringy? Number 2 on the list. Let's talk about Iron Man. We got Iron Man 282. From 1992. Let's stay in the 90s a little bit. That was a good decade. Maybe not for comics, but it was a good decade in general. This is Len Kaminsky writing this story and covered by Kev Hopgood. 2 names you don't hear very often. And Kev Hopgood mainly just drew Iron Man. He didn't really do much else that was, key noteworthy for Marvel, but made a really good Iron Man cover. And actually, there's quite a few good covers that went along right in this era that he did that are pretty respectable. Unfortunately, it's the 90s when things were overprinted, but he will always go down as having this really cool War Machine cover. And this book also controversial. That's what the name of the game is today. First cover appearance of War Machine's armor worn by...
Oh, yeah, Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, yeah. So Rhodes is not even in the armor in this book. And a lot of people say, like, this is the first Rhodes War Machine, but it's not really. So there's a bunch of other things if you want to deep dive a little bit into it. You got, like, the first appearance of the armor being worn is actually in 282. Or 281. 281 is actually the first full appearance of the armor. 282 is the first cover appearance. Oh. Which is strange how that works. That's how good this cover is. 284, Iron Man 284, is the first time Rhodes wears the armor. He actually puts on the War Machine armor. Not very many people care as much about that book. In West Coast Avengers 94 is the first time you get Rhodes in the armor and they call him War Machine.
Oh,
which is that really cool yellow book where he's on the cover. It's really exciting for like a West Coast Avengers book to have that kind of hype. It's like the second best one, this clearly being the best one. Obviously, because it's kind of crazy, just because the cover, because there's a bunch of books that should be better, but the cover's not as good. So
that's true. Yeah.
Sometimes it works that way, sometimes it doesn't. And this one, less people just don't know the truth, as opposed to like the controversy. Well, the big question that goes along with this book is, why was it popular last year? Well, a lot of people are wondering about Armor Wars. When is it gonna? Do you guys forget there was Armor Wars? Because we did a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, is it going to be a movie? Is it going to be a show? Who's going to be in it? What's it going to be about? Well, they started out as a TV show. It was going to be on Disney Plus, and it was going to have Riri. You were going to have James Rhodes as War Machine. They were going to go in the Armor Wars. I'm sure we were going to have Justin Hammer, some other people creating all the different armor type characters, battling it out. Well, the very popular and much sought after Robert Downey Jr. has, I think, recently thrown his hat back in the ring that he wants to come back to the MCU. So they were like, we ain't going to waste a TV show on Robert Downey Jr.
Sure.
Let's switch this one up to a movie. If we're going to have the big dogs playing, let's switch it to a movie. And now it's been a little bit on hiatus with all the weird stuff been going on with Marvel, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. We're probably going to get Robert Downey Jr. maybe as an AI, and they do that whole, like, the infamous Iron Man with Dr. Doom, and hopefully Riri's in it because she's awesome, and hopefully James Rhodes is in it because he's awesome as well. We will see. There's not much note on this bolo-wise. There is a newsstand. I'm assuming in a 9.8 it's probably more valuable, but they don't accredit it as much higher in value, but I would say in a 9.8 newsstand, be on the lookout for that. More importantly, though, it's a fantastic 90s book that should be a lot cheaper than it is, and isn't because of the cool cover. Is it the right time to get it, though?
Yeah. Well, a year ago, it was locked up tight. Couldn't get the code, right? You could get a 9.8 for $310.
Oh.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
Back then. Now, it's even cheaper. Turns out, this one has easy access in the back, in the butt flap area. You can get one.
Butt flap.
Yeah, you can get one for $184 in 9.8.
That's crazy cheap.
Yeah, it is. The range is $179 to $320. Average sale is $243. It's a 41% drop. There's 3,757 total graded. 1,060 are 9.8s. So that's about 28%. It's about 3% above what you would like to see. So that might explain the price going down, because it's easy to get.
Yeah, and we're talking about like the health of the market. It's one of those things that a lot of those 90s books that were super pumped up in like 2020 and 2021, seemed like they were way overpriced, is probably because they were, and that's why they're all rescinding down in their value a lot.
Hindsight.
Yeah, hindsight is 2020. All right, let's get into number one on the list, and this might be the biggest herder of them all. We've got Star Wars Clone Wars issue number 1 from 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, We're out of the 90s now. We ain't talking 90s. This is 2008. Dave Filoni cover, Henry Gilroy, and we're actually talking about the regular cover A. The only book we have on hand is the variant cover. We'll talk about that one too. This is the super rare, only 1,000 copies known to man cover. But we are really talking. We'll have a picture here of the regular cover A, which is the one we are really talking about. First appearance of Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex, the most famous of all the clone troopers, in comic book format. So this is also probably less controversial than some of the other books we talked about, but it kind of goes along similar with Harley Quinn, where this is her first appearance in a comic book with Captain Rex, but technically, I don't know how this works, but this Clone Wars is not canon when you're talking about real Star Wars canon material. I feel like it should be because the cartoon's canon, but apparently the show diverges from where the cartoon goes. It's not an exact copy of it. As of note, also, a lot of people didn't buy this book, so it's limited to only 24,500 copies. Seems like a lot, but it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. That's a small print run probably in today's comic book market. 2008 probably should have been closer to like 50,000 or 100,000 for some of those other books that are around that range.
60,
yeah, so it's almost half or a quarter of what the print run should have been. If you're wondering what some of her other appearances are, there is a Star Wars 30, which is a retailer's exclusive copy that has her on the cover, which is her first cover appearance in real continuity. So that's kind of confusing because somebody did their own retailer exclusive and they did a really cool cover picture of her on it. And that one's actually worth quite a bit of money for her first cover appearance in continuity. And the Star Wars Force Destiny, that really cool book with Ahsoka and Padme, is actually her first appearance in continuity, neither of which even hold a candle to this book. So those are just kind of ones you might like want to look after if you're looking for. Ahsoka, possibly the best Star Wars character of all time. Depends on who you talk to. Her book is, I think, worth the most. I think it beats all the other books when it comes to even like Star Wars 1, which is you're talking Luke and Vader and all the OGs. It's worth more than that.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
A lot of people didn't watch Clone Wars or maybe didn't see Rebels, which are probably two of my favorite things ever made in Star Wars, and I would agree she's probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all times. The market kind of agrees with me on that. You can have a different opinion and totally right, because your opinion matters. Leave it down below who your favorite Star Wars character is. We did get Ahsoka, the TV show, last year from Disney+. I thought was awesome. Not everybody thought it was awesome, so hopefully we get another season, but that's why this book took a huge hop. And anything that's not Marvel or DC, I feel, gets real pumped up when a show comes out and takes a huge nosedive when the show's over. So that's definitely one you want to be looking for. Probably now might be a good time. Zach will give you more info on that as well. Ashley Eckstein is actually the voice actress for her in the cartoon, which is a great person to get to sign these as well as the live action actress, Rosario Dawson. You got like both. You can either get one or the other. Ashley's super expensive for a voice actor.
Yeah,
I wish she was a little bit cheaper. I'm not saying it's not warranted, because they should charge whatever they want to charge. If they think it's worth it and there's a million people standing in line, charge that amount.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I want to wait for her to get a little bit cheaper before I get her to sign. I want her to sign one of my things. Cool.
She should be cheaper, but that's just okay.
Yeah. But we just talked about Be on the Lookout, the Bolo Report. There is a newsstand copy, which is super duper hard to find. I don't think we've ever seen one, have we?
I've never seen one in person.
Of cover A. There's a newsstand copy of cover A. Won't even tell you how much more valuable that is than the regular cover. And the Dark Horse 100 is a cool thing where they sent 1,000 different shops.
No. 10 shops, 100 copies.
That's right. 10 shops, 100 copies, equaling to 1,000. This is also drawn by Dave Filoni as well, who is, if you guys don't know who he is, he's like the creator of the Clone Wars TV show. He's like the director. He's a Star Wars nut and also a pretty good artist. He does a very cool, like, watercolor-esque sort of type painting picture on it. This is the creme de la creme book, though, if you're looking for it. So it's a good thing Princess has a copy.
Right now in her hand.
But anyway, Is it a good time to get Star Wars Clone Wars? I might be on the hunt for one. I might have to be looking for this book.
All right. A year ago, for CGC 9.8, you had to go to a far galaxy to find this book for a decent price. Far galaxy.
Long time ago.
Long time ago, but also
1
very
year.
near from here, 1 year ago. You can get one for $1,950 a year ago. Now, guess what? SpaceX made a space bridge, and you can just get there in a second. 1,100 of a second. $1,100. You can get one for $1,100, guys. For CGC 9.8. Pretty good. Pretty good. Range, $913 to $1,950. Average sale is $1,336. It's a 44% drop. That's a herder. There's 1,994 total graded. I thought there'd be more.
Mm-hmm.
Only 633 of them are 9.8. That's about 32% of total graded.
Over the 15.
So, even if that's a dark cover, it's still, I guess, pretty easy book to get a 9.8 relatively, as long as you follow a couple rules. It's a beautiful cover. I like it. I like it almost as much as I like the Dark Horse 100.
They're like basically the same for me too. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I still got to pick one up, and for $1,100, it's not a bad price at all. And it has a pretty decent future. I think it would be a great book to pick up, but it's going to be one of those ebb and flow books.
Yeah.
It's going to go up in price, and it's going to down, up, down, up. Yeah, it's going to be doing all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would think if you like Ahsoka, might be worth your time to get your first appearance right now.
Yeah, Star Wars comics are kind of a fickle beast a little bit, because back in 2008 when these were coming out, they were not respected at all. Like almost nobody even respected any of the Star Wars. Even Star Wars 1 was not a huge deal back in 2008, where like when these books were coming out, they're like, hey, if you're a Star Wars fan, you might buy this. And most comic fans weren't buying it at all, which is why we've run across so many random people that have these books that just have it like tucked away in a shoebox somewhere, and they didn't even care about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a big deal, which is probably why there's not very many graded, because they're still hidden somewhere out there.
We'll find them.
Yeah, there's a very good opportunity to find them. And it's a fun book though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's weird the way Star Wars worked that way. Now people like Star Wars comics.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think? Comic of the week? Of the month?
I think it has to be Hulk 181.
Really?
I know it didn't drop that much, but relatively, I mean, it dropped something like 18%. But that's one of the books that, like, on there, I'm trying not to be as biased. I'd say the number one would be Star Wars, but at the same time, probably the best return on your investment.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah, but
would
if
be
any of these
Hulk
books,
181.
if you're gonna have one that might be worth $100,000 in 20 years, it's probably gonna be the Hulk 181. It will not be the Ahsoka.
No.
Ahsoka will get lucky if it ever hits 5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could, but especially if you get signed by I don't know, somebody. But yeah,
You get a 9.9.
or a remark. Ooh, a remark. That'd be nice. But yeah, I would think Hulk 181 would probably be the one I would go after if you're trying to if you're gonna pick up one of these 5 books and money was no object, it'd probably be the Hulk 181. You can find other ones later. That's what I think. Yeah.
Nice. All right, guys. As usual, do all the awesome YouTube stuff for us. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. Princess likes when you do that. And subscribe so you always get our content when it's coming out. There is a notification bell too. We like to go live on Wednesdays, and we love to hang out with you guys. We do questions, answers. Tell us about the books you picked up this week. We tell you about the books we picked up this week. It's a lot of fun. It's like hanging out with your friends every Wednesday on New Comic Book Day. And Zach, you got anything special?
Yeah, you gotta share. How you do that is you have to pick up your good friend in your Tesla, right? His name's Rocco, and you just go drive around and have fun, and you just call that, that's Rocco's modern life. Maybe make a TV show about it.
Nice.
That has nothing to do with reality. Rocco's modern life. Great show.
There you go.
Great show.
Until next time, guys, stay safe and remember,
Rock on and get those gains.
get
Hulk gains, that is.
Stone Cold gains.
Stone Cold.